This is our Ultra P1440 gaming rig. This is basically if you really starting to get to wanting a serious setup and want to run everything really high at 2K. And even if you want to run 4K, this one runs pretty much everything, very high specifications with the exception of a few games where you can't run everything on Ultra and you need to go down on a few settings. So really, if you're looking at a high-end gaming PC, this is an excellent point to look at. If you're specifically running 4K, you can always look at something like this and then adding a second graphics card or going for a slightly higher graphics card. Basically, the build is built on our normal dependable platform. We've done a lot of testing, and at the level of this current graphics card, you do start to get restricted a little bit by the platform, but you're still at a point where how much you actually gain by going for a higher platform is a little bit relative. To put it in perspective, running the G1 Gaming 980 Ti on our i5 platform here, we've got a 3D Mark score of 14,300 versus running it on a 6-core 140 watt setup with double the RAM. You get about 16,000. So you basically starting to get to the point where you're approaching the edge of the platform. You can get 10% higher running it on the higher platform, but then you're looking at basically double the cost build. So it is one of those things where if you want to get the maximum out of everything and you have the money, you can go for that. But if you're looking to do it on a budget, this actually works very well. I mean, that 10% that you lose is basically just the difference that you might get from overclocking a few of the components. Going for the i7 processor might help as well with the K1, the overclocking one. The only thing is we suspect one of the big advantages of the higher platform comes in is that you're actually running quad channel RAM instead of dual channel RAM. But okay, so on to the build. We've got our favorite Cooler Master Mastercase Pro 5 here. It's an excellent platform, and you'll see when we show the inside. We easily fit the 980 Ti in there. If you want to go SLI, you'd actually fit a second one in there as well. On the power supply side, we're still running our VS550 for this build, which is a nice medium range power supply. Very nice packaging, very efficient, very quiet at lower loads, which really creates a nice atmosphere. You almost never hear the computer. It's quite nice. Where it is a little bit limited, it's got a very big 12-volt rail for a power supply of its size, but you wouldn't be able to go for a SLI setup with this power supply. If you're looking to add a second card, you would have to upgrade the power supply to something a little bit larger. Then, as a motherboard, we've got our Gigabyte Z170 XP SLI. It's an excellent all-around board. It's value for money. It's very difficult to beat. It's got backwards compatibility. It's got future compatibility. It's one of Gigabyte's ultra-durable series boards, which I personally have had one which has lasted me over 10 years. So we really believe in the ultra-durable range. They seem to be ultra-durable. Then for RAM, we're running DDR4 two 8 gig DIMMs of 2400 megahertz. It's the Vengence LPX from Corsair. They work very well. I wouldn't recommend going for less than the 216 gig DIMMs in this kind of build. And here you're getting to the point where it might make sense to upgrade to 32 gig, but you're still okay in this kind of package. CPU. We're running the 6th generation 6600 i5. This is a 65 watt processor. It really is one that punches well above its weight. The reasoning for that is it's got incredible single core performance. A lot of people look at it and say i5 or an i7. The reality is it's a lot more complicated like that. For example, you can get a laptop i7, which is a 15-watt processor, compared to this one's 65-watt processor, or the other platform which we used as a comparison, which is a 140-watt processor. And that wattage for the same generation, you get sort of similar performance per watt. So it really, this is a very powerful processor if you compare it to laptop gaming. It has got, this illustrates it, it has got enough performance to run, which at this point is the fastest single card available on the market. The 1080 is coming to market soon. It will be a little bit faster than this one, and we'll update our products accordingly when it hits the market. The nice thing though is the 980 Ti's have come down in price quite a lot. So at this point, it is still a very, very, very interesting option to rather go for the 980 Ti. Okay, then onto that one. We've got the Gigabyte G1 Gaming 980 Ti. The extreme gaming version of this is also available. Depending on the current price point in the market, we'll be switching between either the G1 Gaming or the Extreme Gaming. Both of them excellent cards, and both of them are sort of at that point where you're at the limit of what the platform can do. So whichever one offers the better value point at that point, we'll include in the package. At the moment, we've got the G1 Gaming, which we've done all our benchmarks with. It's an excellent card. It is quite a large card as well. It does run very silently as well, which really complements this platform. And as a whole package, it gives you basically a beast of a gaming PC in a very nice, neat, simple setup. So let's go have a look at what's actually going on inside here. First thing on this case, before we go inside the actual case, one of the brilliant features it has to keep all your components clean, make sure all the fans keep working, is it's got detachable dust covers. They're really simple to get to, and got all three of these. Clean these once a month or so. Keeps the inside of the computer nice and clean, and they're really some of the quickest and easiest accessible ones I've seen on any case. It really makes for a very, very simple maintenance, and it keeps your computer neat and clean inside, and just helps with make sure you don't get anything like a fan getting stuck when full oil heatsink getting filled with dust. To open it, really simple. Twist, 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 twist. Pull that side panel pops off, and then here we go. Here we've got the actual computer. Starting from the bottom up, we've got our Corsair power supply here. It's very nicely matched to the case. Its wiring is long enough to reach everywhere running in the channels provided in the back of the case. It gives you a very nice, neat setup. All the wires are nice and out of the way, which always, myself, I like it if a build is nice and clean. What we also have at the bottom here is our hard drive. This is our base hard drive for the build, which is the SSHD. It's basically a standard hard drive, a high-speed one, a 7,200 RPM, but with an 8 gig SSD built onto it. Basically what it means is it uses that SSD to buffer all the programs you use off it. It helps a lot for startup times. And if you're constantly playing the same game over and over, the files that are most often used will be buffered in that, helping a lot with loading and startup times. It's not quite an SSD. We really recommend a SSD to get the full effect of this computer. If you go to an SSD, you get about 3 times the performance feel to the computer. It really makes a huge difference. So we really recommend the games you most often play and the operating system to have those on the SSD. The drive trays are really nice and quick and easy. This is just the box with all its extra screws and a few brackets. The hard drives just clip in here, and then it's got screw points to mount the 2.5-inch drives like you would with SSDs. Over here, we've got two SSD bays, which if you're using a large graphics card like this, you can either move the drive bay down and move the graphics card up, or in this case, we just left the drive bay where it is. It's adjustable or removable. But then if you want to have an SSD in here and want to be able to work on it, there are points at the back of the motherboard where you can actually mount the SSDs completely out of the way, which is a very nice option, and it frees up a bit of space here. Graphics card, this is the 980 Ti G1 Gaming. You'll see it uses both 8-pin power connectors from the motherboard, and you can see it lengthwise, it's just a little too long to be able to fit in with the drive bay. So if you're looking to run two of them, you would have to remove this drive bay. It is a quick and easy process, but just keep in mind then that you are then limited to the two drives here and the two SSD bays, but you still got two 5.5-inch bays up here, which I suppose you can also use for drives. It's got a bit covered by this card, but the motherboard has got a very, very nice sound card built in. It's completely isolated. It is really a very, very impressive one. Haven't had any issues with it in any of the tests we've seen. Have a look at the motherboard's review for a bit more information on it. The board is SLI and Crossfire compatible. If you're looking at the large cards, you would be able to fit two in to run SLI or Crossfire. The reality is the third slot, the spacing is too small. You won't be able to fit 3 cards in there, but it normally doesn't make sense to actually run that. And if you're running 3 cards, you probably would rather be going for the higher end motherboards and the 140 watt CPU class processors. You've got 6 gigabits per second SATA connectors. And the very nice thing for future compatibility is this board, all of the SATA connectors are actually configured to run as SATA Express as well. So you can use 2 ports plus the extra little connector as a SATA Express board. At the time of making this video, SATA Express SSDs aren't available yet, but we're really looking forward to it. That'll give a huge boost in performance, as you have almost 3 times the bandwidth on the board there. Speaking of high bandwidth memory, you have got an M.2 slot here, which is actually a 32 gigabits per second slot, and it supports all 3 lengths of cards. So you can put the MVE SSDs in here if you want a seriously fast rig. At the moment, they're still very expensive, unfortunately. So it's not something we normally offer as an option, but we can get them for you if you would like. We've got 2 PCI slots which are open here. Then we've got PCI Express, and you've actually got PCI slots as well, one here and one which is currently being covered by this graphics card, which is really nice for backwards compatibility if you want to have it on a wireless network and you still have an old PCI wireless card lying around. This Turbo B clock is a very nice little thing that Gigabyte has done. It allows you to overclock in smaller increments. With this specific CPU, it's not relevant, but if you were running a 700K, that is a very nice thing to have. Here's our 2 RAM DIMMs, 2 8 gig RAM DIMMs. There's space for 2 additional ones if you want to go to 32 gig. You'll see we're actually running the standard Intel cooler on there. And the reason for that is this 40 nanometer architecture of theirs. If it's not overclocked, it's incredibly efficient. It generates very little heat. To give you an idea, running 3D Mark with this graphics card, the CPU actually hovers at around 40 degrees Celsius just in ambient temperature of 20, which is very impressive, as that's typically what our 6-core setups do on liquid cooling. So this specific one is incredibly efficient, doesn't need a lot of cooling, makes for a nice easy setup and saves a little bit of money on there. Okay, then that's basically it on the inside. Let's show you what you get on the back. On your back panel here, you've got your motherboard I/O, and then of course your graphics card. The 980 Ti basically comes with 2 DVI ports, 3 display ports, and 1 HDMI connection. Running a graphics card, of course, makes the motherboard's onboard options a bit obsolete, but you've got 3 connectors here for your motherboard directly, which is just running through the onboard graphics. The nice thing with this board is it really allows for backwards and forwards compatibility. You even still have a PS2 port if you have an old keyboard or mouse, which you're a big fan of. There's 2 USB 2 ports, 3 USB 3 ports, which are the blue ones. What's very nice is you've got the red Type A port, which is a USB 3.1 port, which gives you double the bandwidth, hence double the speed. And next to it, for future compatibility, this is brilliant. This is a USB Type C 3.1 port, which is basically the new standard which will be replacing micro USB. It's the same speed, USB 3.1, 10 gigabits per second. It has a very high power output through the connection. I know some of the laptops are starting to actually run from the USB connection as a power connection as well. You've got your audio ports, and then you've got your LAN port. So basically, if you're looking for a fairly high-end gaming PC that, if you're running 2K, can basically do anything, that can run a few monitors at P1440 without a problem, and can do a decent job of 4K gaming, this is an excellent option. And the nice thing is, if you want to go and impress people at a LAN, it's nice and portable, easy to transport. It has got a bit of weight to it, but that's the sturdy case. We like that. It's excellent build quality. But overall, this is an excellent setup. If you're looking for a high-end gaming PC, this thing should last you years and years and years. And it's done in a way where you don't break the bank. You can easily spend twice the amount of money and get very, very similar performance still. So we've done our research on it, and we believe this is really one of the best value points in the market.